And let's talk about the final round then. It's what you're
Okay.
calling your last ever live album. It's a powerful reflection of basically your decades of making music, and it features your band of over 20 years, people that
Yes.
you've grown and performed with for so long together. So I'd love to
Yes.
hear more about what makes the final round such a fitting culmination of your live performances then.
Um, well, I think because the band, obviously, when we started playing together, it was based on Manfred Mann's Earth Band songs and some songs that I'd written with the guitar player and some songs I had on my own. But basically, when we played live, it was, Manfred Mann's Earth Band songs. And we changed them and built them over the time to get up to like a 2 hour, 15-minute show. And about 4 years before I decided I was going to retire from live work, um, I'm 77, nearly 78 years old, and I just woke up one morning and thought, the first time I put my guitar and my amp into a car, I was 16 years old. So I think 60 years is enough. And I just decided not to, just to stop. So anyway, so about 4 years before I decided to stop, we one of the guys came to me and said, "Can we? We've been going back over some really early Man for Man's Earth Band songs that you didn't have anything to do with. But funnily enough, we recorded that we were um, doing them on the live gigs I first did with Man for Man's Earth Band because I hadn't made anything. Mick Rogers had left and we were promoting Nightingales and Bombers, and I hadn't done anything. But so a couple of the songs, Messin and it'll come to me in a second. Um, that we did those. So they said to me, "Would you like to do these? Can we do our own versions of these kind of proggy rock songs?" So that's what we did. We did three, and the band kind of went in those 4 years. We kind of developed more and more songs, and I just felt that we had to record what we had done. Great guitar player, fantastic bass and drums, best bass and drums I've ever played with. The other song is called Buddha. And we did our own prog rock versions of these songs. And we've since actually recorded two other prog rock songs we wrote, which will be on my last physical album that I'm working on now. So I felt, we had to record it. We had to record the band. So I recorded it over a year. Didn't tell them when I was recording because people get so nervous when you tell them you're recording. And that became the tour. It's called the Final Round, and that's what we recorded. I don't know, 10 shows or 12 shows, and I had to sift through them and see which was the best representation. And I'm pretty happy. I mean, we did very little except for we double tracked a few guitar tracks because just the way some of the venues affected the sounds. Luckily, the bass and the drums were all close in and they were closely mic'd, so nothing affected that. But the guitars, you had so much with the room and everything, so we had to double a few guitar bits and pieces to get the sound that we heard on stage. So, but very little else, very little.
And how did your bandmates take the news that you were going to stop touring then, stop being on the road? Because obviously, as you said, you'd been with them for 20 years, playing with them, and obviously the friendships built up and things like that. So how did they take the news that you decided that was enough of being on the
And
road for
never,
you?
they never spoke to me again. No, that's
Was-
a joke. Um, we're such good friends. Whenever I talk to them now, they always say, "Oh, you miss playing," but I miss playing too, I have to say. But I have an advantage over them that I have all the tracks without me singing. So I put them in my studio where I am now. I put them in the studio, and if I really miss it that much, I can hang my guitar on, I can play and sing along, which I do very often. So no, they're good friends, and we wrote two other songs and recorded them, and they've worked out really, really well. So I think they're happy that we're still in touch and working together. And for ages I said to them, "Why don't you just get another singer? Just get another singer." And And they didn't like that idea, but I think they've now come to the realization that that's what they should do because they're such a great band. As I said, the best drummer I've ever worked with in my life. He's just incredible. And the bass player together, they're just the best. And they should not be sitting at home going, gee, I wish we were playing. Definitely. I mean, they do play individually, but together. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to get together and then I can pop over and sing a couple of songs.
That's it, yeah. And so after 60 years of doing this and being on the road and playing live and things like that, did you have a tearful moment at the very end then when you realized this was it? You were finally capturing the end?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The last song, the last song was Questions. I always did that as the last song. The first song I did, we changed it around a lot, but over the last 4 years, I think I always started with For You because the audience, it did just me and the piano, and the audience always felt that was, I announced my retirement 2 years before, but people knew I was going to stop. Every interview I did, I said, I'm going to stop soon. So I always started with For You, which kind of got the audience together. And we always finished with Questions, which was a huge hit in Norway and in Scandinavia, much more so than England, I think. And yeah, so the last gig we did was in a club where we did our first gig.
Oh,
So yeah, so there's 21 years later, we did a gig in the same club. And it was, yeah, it wasn't a big club. So they had a TV outside. And it was cold, freezing and snowing. People still standing outside, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and watching the thing. And I got halfway through the first chorus of Questions, and I just crashed completely. I had to stop and start again because I was very tearful and yeah, I managed to. We actually went back to the beginning and started the whole song again, and I
oh,
was okay. I got it together, but it was very, very, very upsetting, and I was very, very upset. And then we went off to the bass player's place, and we had a fantastic party. He organised this incredible. It was Christmas, near Christmas. He organised this incredible mishmash of Norwegian Christmas fair and English Christmas fair. And he had organized it all. It was just incredible. And we had all partied together with our wives and girlfriends and all the close people and yeah, we had a wonderful time. So it was a good send off.
fantastic stuff. And how can people get hold of the final round then?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm just going to walk over here and get a copy of it. Hang on a sec.
Absolutely,
I'll be
you do
back
that.
in a minute. Don't go away. You can edit that out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here it is. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, that's the final round. And it's 2 hours of music. And it's got everything that everybody would possibly want to hear, I think, plus some original songs from me. If people go to my website, you can digitally get it through Cherry Red Records digital department. But I had these printed. I had 500 of these printed. And if you go to my website, I've been trying to raise money for a children's cancer station in Karlsruhe in Germany. I've had some, not myself personally, but a friend of mine had a very terrible experience, and they were just unbelievably marvelous. He had a child that was very sick, and they were unbelievably fantastic with him. And he's been working with them, and I decided that I print some of these and I give them away. If people make a donation, it's something that I did every Christmas. I gave away whatever records. I had a Christmas record, and I used to give them away at the gigs for the local charities, and it worked really well. We raised a lot of money over 2 years, and I've raised 5,000 euros so far. So if people go to the website, they can donate as much or as little as they want, and they will be sent a record. signed copy. So if people want a signed copy, that's how they do it.
I'll be
And
heading straight to your website after this, Chris.
and yeah, so that's what I've been doing with it. That was the whole reason for printing some CDs, was to raise some money for this kids charity, because I mean there's so many charities but it was something personal with me and my friend, and we yeah, together we felt it was a good idea to do it. And so, people can donate, 2 euros. I don't doesn't matter, but they will be sent a copy, and we have somebody sending the copies out. And like I said, it's to raise money for the Karlsruhe Kids Cancer Study.
Fantastic cause. Well done, Chris. I applaud you for that. That's brilliant. And just to finish off, then you've kind of teased us with a couple of things. You said you're writing a book and you're recording stuff as well. So let us know how's that going? What are you up to with them kind of things?
Well, I've just had such an incredible life
Yes.
as a musician, and been in such incredible situations that, I mean, everybody's got stories, but, I've been in with so many different groups of people playing in so many different situations, and having some incredible successes and some incredible failures. And I thought it would be nice to just to write all those things down, and so I'm doing that. I'm at the taking note stage, wherever I've got a pad and I just write down the ideas, and then I'm going to just talk them into some AI device that will print them out for me, and tell me where to put a comma, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm halfway through making a very eclectic record, nothing to do with anything I've done before, just all sorts of ideas and songs. Just on a total aside, I've been working with my wife, who I discovered was a really great lyricist. We've been working on a musical, and we finished it. We wrote the script and we finished it. 24 new songs. At the moment, it's called "Do It for Love," and we did put it on one time before the everything got closed down in March, whatever year that was.
2020, yeah.
So we've seen it. We know that it works, and it's a young people's kind of, it's a family thing, bit of mystery, bit of this, bit of that. But that's what I've been doing for all this time. Apart from doing my live record, I've been producing these 24 tracks for the different singers in the musical. So I've been doing that, and while that happened, while my kids had got really go back to my father for 1 second. My father was a musical freak. He loved musicals, and he was always singing bits from musicals, and this is that, and he always played them. And I just loved, the early Gilbert and Sullivan and all that kind of stuff. He loved that.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to. So when you write a musical, you write for the art, you write for this, the person who's playing the part. You write for the, whether it's the bad guy, the good guy, the woman, or the older person, or whatever it is in your play. Each character has a song, and so it just kind of loosened my writing ability totally. I now was not writing, is it got a chorus? Is it this or a no? I had a place in the musical. I knew what it was. I knew what they wanted to say. I knew what kind of character they were, and it just seemed I could write them just like that. They just flew out, because it was a whole different thing. And during that time, some other songs flew out as well, and complete, not anything that you could link up and say, hey, that's Chris Thompson or anything. And that's what I'm working on. I'm working on those songs that flew out. Yeah.
Incredible stuff. So although you may be coming off the road, you're certainly not slowing down by the sounds of things. You've got so much going
I've
on.
got less time. I seem to have no time to do anything anymore. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, as you can tell, I'm sure. I'm enjoying it very, very much, and having a great time.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you for this hour or so, and thank you so much for your time. And best of luck with everything you've got coming on, coming forward on your plate, because it sounds like you've got an awful lot going on.
Oh, well, thanks, Paul. It's been a pleasure.